Well, hello there. Welcome to another chapter of World's Longest Suicide Note. If I seem a little distracted, it's just me. My name is Roger, and I'm the host and the suicidal person of the channel. And maybe I'll talk really quickly about the suicidal part because a lot of times people don't understand that. And so, because what makes somebody that thing, that deal? Um, it's been about 25 years since I was really super active trying to kill myself. But even though I was unsuccessful, it doesn't mean that I didn't continually go back to that place where I was thinking about it and acting on that desire. So yeah, and so over the years, it used to be like I'd have a bad day and I'd just get depressed, and then if there was another bad day and another bad day, and about the third or fourth bad day, I would really start feeling it's time to go. It's time to check out. I'm just grabbing a brush. Yeah, and so then the next time, it only took 4 days to get to that place that, I'm feeling like I don't want to be here anymore. Before you know it, it's 3 days, 2 days, 1 day, 6 hours, 5 hours, 3 minutes. Over time, it just got to the point where when I'm feeling bad, my mind, there's no in between now. My mind starts fixating on that and starts thinking about it. And I can't, in my memory, which isn't great, but it is what it is. I can't remember, how I didn't track it. So, but I just know that right now I have made it so efficient to wish I wasn't here whenever I'm not feeling good. And I have depression all the time, meaning that there's not days when I take my autistic son to Disneyland and I'm in the happiest place. I think they did studies. It's the happiest place on earth. I mean, how else could they say that if it wasn't true? But even there, I deal with depression, and so the problem is that eventually, that I think this is what happens to a lot of folks. You just get to you're now at a place where you're just constantly thinking about it, and which really ties into what I want to talk about today. Now, that being said, we've established the fact that I deal with suicidal thoughts on a pretty normal, a pretty basic, normal, basic, in a chronological order. I experience this quite a bit. So at least weekly, usually multiple times a week. But I am not, and I repeat, I am not a professional, even though I've been doing this for a long, long time. I'm not a professional in it. I encourage everybody, and I've said it before, and I'm going to say it a million times again. And I'm not saying it because, I'm afraid of being sued, that someone's going to sue me for holding myself out as some kind of expert and expecting you to listen to me. I say it because you need to, you need input from a professional, somebody who has training, somebody who has been doing this Well, I mean, I've been doing it for a long time, but somebody who has the skills to be of assistance to you, because even the doctors and the medications and all that stuff, those are tools. Those are not cures for the most part. And so, and like any tool, you need to have that tool. It's something that you have to have in your toolbox. And we're going to talk. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to revisit the toolbox situation because I've been talking to people about it, and I think we need to just revisit that. It's such an important thing that I want to make sure that we're all on the same page as far as that goes. All right, so I've had several conversations this week with people, and I'm going to be perfectly honest. It's getting worse out there across the board. I don't really, in my conversations and in my work, my activity, it's not work. I don't get paid to talk with people who are dealing with things. It's just something that happens. But in that, those conversations that I'm having, it's getting bad out there. It's getting chippy out there. As far as I think the overall mentality and mind space of the population. And so it's even more critical that we have tools to use at our disposal, because a lot of the tools that we have access to are going away. And I don't mean that as a scare tactic. I don't mean it it's not going to be there. I think you all know what's going on in the world, mostly in the government. And it's concerning, anyone who loses benefits, who loses status, it gets to be, it's scary, and it adds to the overall stress that we're all feeling, just on a daily basis. So, for those folks who may be new or just need another reminder. My platform, so to speak, and the thing that I do, I do it for myself, and I tell everybody about it. It's to practice resilience, to preventative resilience is what I call it. But at the end, to make it short and sweet and understandable for everybody, it's a toolbox. You have a toolbox, and not only do you have a toolbox, you know how to use the tools in the toolbox, and you're authorized to use them whenever you need them. So, and there's something very important about that, about the authorization to use them. I mean, if you hired a plumber, the plumber's going to show up, and they're going to have a cool vehicle that has everything in it. If they show up in like a sedan, you may want to, rethink your, or if they pull up in a Harley with a few little tools in their saddlebags, you may want to get a second opinion as far as that goes. Because they should have tools. They should have a shop on wheels, and then they have the racks with the big tubing and pipes and whatnot. That's what you want. I mean, that's like more legit. But there's no sense of a plumber coming out to your place and saying, well, yeah, we could totally do that, but I can't use the tools. I need authorization to use the tools. So I'm just going to use my hands. I mean, I don't think you're going to get too far, or your customer is going to be very happy with the finished product, because I did it all by hand. Cutting the pipes sticking them together. Yeah. So without the authorization, the tools are pointless. But what's the authorization? What's the story about that? Well, let's talk about it for a minute while I switch colors. That went really quick. So, I'll do a little bit of that. Anyway, moving on. So the whole idea is you have some things that you like to do that help you focus or help you move through a stuck point, or that help in management of what's going on. So that's I'm knocking stuff over all the time. So you find yourself in a place where you're struggling, not in crisis or anything. You're just struggling. The whole idea is that you recognize that. First of all, you recognize, okay, I'm struggling a bit, and then you figure out, okay, what's going to make the biggest impact in my situation, and it has to be something that you could do that fits into your schedule and fits into everything else. I know that throughout my day, I have meetings that I have to do, and one of the tools that I use is in my scheduling, meaning that I used to schedule meetings like bam, 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 bam. Well, that is, it's efficient. It's like you can get some stuff done, but there's no time in between to handle what it is that to adjust to what happened in the last hour. So after every meeting, one of the things that I do is a self-check. And it's very easy. It's simple. How do I feel? And I do this about every hour or so. I mean, it's not on a set. It's at this point, I used to have it in my schedule to every hour I'd have a ding, my watch would make a ding, like every hour, and then I would go through a process, an internal process of how do I feel, what's my anxiety level, am I ready for the next? There was time to get ready for the next one, but also to decompress from the last one. And so that's one of the tools that I use all the time, is like my schedule. Make sure I have enough time to decompress and to do the things that I need to do. But then once you decompress and you're like, oh, I need something, I am actually worse than I was when I went into the meeting, and I have 18 minutes before the next one, or 30 minutes, or whatever the time is. The whole idea is you have a toolbox, you open it up, and it's not a real toolbox. I mean, if you need that, then maybe tools are your thing, real tools. So you open the toolbox and work with tools. Whatever it is, the whole idea, I know I have a 18-minute tool in there. I have something I could do for 18 minutes that will make me feel better and allow me to maintain my level, and then I pull that out and I authorize myself to use it, whatever that is. It takes me about 18 minutes to do a lap. There's a little lap that I do. I'll go outside and I'll do a lap. It'll make me feel good. I get a little fresh air. That's one of them. But the whole idea is to keep developing those tools, because you have lots of long tools, you have short tools. The whole idea is that you have a repertoire of activities that you can just pull out of. Didn't make sense. that you could choose from. And then you use them. You have to authorize yourself to do that. And that means talking to people. I deal with this, and some of the things that I have to, because I'm dealing with this, there's times when I'm going to just need to step out. Or there's times where I need to plug into music and just sit here, put my headphones on and chill out, whatever it is. I mean, talk to people about it, because I think that's important, is one, to tell people where you're at. That's part of that whole, being transparent about what's going on, which is critical. So it's about that. And so you're able to talk, and people understand, and they will actually, most people will say, oh, absolutely, I understand, go do what you have to do. The whole idea is that you don't take everything home. Home is home. It's not, that's not the place where you wallow. That should be you don't want to go home and just dump all your stuff out. And I always, and a lot of people with mental illness, they measure where they're at on the rabbit hole scale. On the rabbit hole, where am I? The whole idea is to stay about ground level. Stay where it's manageable. Because the deeper you go, the harder it is, because you got to climb your way out of it. If you can maintain your level as close to ground level as possible, then you've already done a bunch of the work. It's like doing dishes at night. I like to clean as I cook. That's just how it is. As I'm making dirty in dishes, I'm trying to clean them up, because the last thing you want is, after kind of relaxing and having your dinner, is to sit there for an hour and clean up. But if you could, as you're done with pots and pans and dishes and stuff, you could just be cleaning as you're cooking. When you get done, you don't have that much to do. It's pretty much you've done it while you were you're multitasking, you're being productive. It's that kind of thing. The whole idea is, throughout your day, you're doing some work. You're prioritizing your mental health, and you're using tools from your toolbox. And then at the end of the day, you go home, and it's not about just like just like venting everything into the air. It's, you can actually go home and relax and be at home. So that's definitely something. And so part of the authorization is setting that up so people understand. I mean, you need to tell people what's going on. That's just how it is. You need to, and I'm all for transparency. So if you haven't told somebody you're going through some stuff, well, this is a great opportunity. I'm going through some stuff, and this is how I'm managing the stuff I'm going through. I may just have to step out for a minute. I may seem distant. I may be doing a crossword puzzle at my desk, but it's not about killing time. It's about getting back a level of myself that has gone out the door with the last folks that I talked to. So that's important. If you don't tell anyone, no one knows, and then you may get pushback. You may get, people may question what's going on. So I'm always, first of all, be open and honest and transparent. You're gonna, we all have a fear that we're going to be ostracized, or we're going to be, considered something less because of that. It's not the case, believe me. And you could use it as a test for who's really got your back and who doesn't anyway. If you say that, oh, we can't allow you to do that. And I understand, like if you're an ER nurse or like a surgeon or something, you just can't. Something bad happened when they're on the table. You can't be like, oh, I'm out. Go take a lap. They'll be fine. They're not going anywhere. Yeah. So it's got to be appropriate. It's got to, but at the same time, that's probably one of the biggest things. And then once you have the authorization from, you're the number one, and if you have to work that out. But then you use them. You use it. You use your toolbox all the time. Don't like, oh, I got a great toolbox. I got a tool for everything, blah, 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 and then never use it. What good does that do? Anybody? No good. It was a rhetorical question. So that's the whole idea. You have to build resilience because at the end of the day, the idea that things are going to improve to any significant degree to help you with that, you can't count on that. You need to count on yourself, and you need to believe that you are the right person to make the call as far as when you need to pull those whatever out of your pocket and say, all right, now I need something. And so I'm going to do whatever, X, Y, or Z, and that's going to help me. And it's like anything else, the more you do before you actually have to do it, the better you are. It's not all or nothing. You work at it. You work through the day, and some days are great. Some days you won't need it at all, and those are great days. But get into the habit of verifying that. I feel all right. Am I all right? Is there something that's causing me anxiety or worry? Is there what's going on? Am I struggling with any specific thing? And then, you be honest with yourself, and then when you need something, you take something. It's as simple as that. And the whole idea is self-help. The whole idea is building resilience. So you're not constantly because especially if you know that whenever you start thinking negative thoughts, suicide comes out, suicide's right there, then you really need to be proactive. You really need to be like not hesitating to use tools. Don't hesitate, because there's no room. If you're at the place where it'll take you 6 bad days in a row to start feeling that way, well, it's not as critical. It's critical, and you should be developing it. But it's the folks out there that can go from 0 to 60 in 5 seconds with their, that mentality and that desire to end it. Those of us who have that have to be on the ball. Have to be on the stick. Just got to be right there doing the work, because that keeps us, keeps the monsters away to a great degree. So, and that's going to be about it, I think, because I don't want to. I could literally talk about this for hours, and I have, and I'm sorry for. If you were one of the ones that, while I was talking about it for hours, sorry, but not really. Anyway, that being said, build your toolbox and use the toolbox. Put stickers on the toolbox. Put your name on it. Customize it up because it's your toolbox. They're your tools. And then keep it handy. Keep it right here. Mine's right here. Do you see it? It's beautiful. It's a Snap-on. I spent a lot of money on that. All right. That being said, we're going to move forward. I appreciate you. I hope you keep fighting, and I hope you have a massive toolbox of stuff. All right. Take care.